This is our first day back with an audience in a year and a half, I'm going to guess. It's so wonderful to see everybody. So welcome. We'll get started with the pledge. Mr. Miller?
Please stand. So this is all new to me too. Gotcha. Put your right hand over your heart. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our new old digs, Madam Chair.
I know, brand new to Mr. Miller and Mr. Otto, which he may have lost his way. I'm not sure. Okay. We welcome those who are here for the purpose of addressing the board at the proper time and in the order of their request. If you wish to speak during the meeting, please fill out a form indicating your name and the agenda item you wish to address. You may also make a request to give testimony on an item not listed for discussion today. However, full discussion on any items not listed on the agenda will have to be delayed until such time as they can be publicly posted in advance as a regular agenda item. If you wish to ask questions, please address them to the chair and not to individual members of the board or staff. The board has been meeting in closed session regarding matters listed on today's closed session agenda. And in closed session today, the board voted to approve a final settlement and general release of claims in a special education matter, providing consideration and a general release. The vote was unanimous with all 5 members participating in the vote. Also, I'd like to mention that tonight we are using board docs. It's kind of a different way of operating, so some of us are using these devices. We're paying attention. We're reading the agenda and the accompanying materials on our devices. And just so you know, we're making this adjustment. So this might not go smoothly, I guess is what I'm saying. This is a new thing, and we're kind of in a new situation, but we're going to do the best we can. And
Mrs. Craighead, may I add for the public, Board Docs is an important tool for our public's accessibility of the agendas. So now when the community or public goes to the district website and goes to look at information about the Board of Education and board agendas, they will also reach the Board Docs website, which provides language accessibility in a new way and transparency in a new way relative to the board's agenda and its minutes and other aspects of the board's function.
I appreciate that background information, as I'm sure everyone will appreciate our our move to make things more accessible. Okay, public hearing, we have none tonight. Call for agenda items for separate action, and before we do that, I just want to mention that we do have a couple of corrections to make. One is under new business regarding the contract waivers, under where it says Stanford Middle School, the teachers, it should say the teachers of Stanford, and it currently reads the teachers of Rogers. So I'd like to make that correction. And then there's a correction in the purchasing and contracts report. Yumi, I think I'll have you address that one.
Yes, purchasing contracts report, item number 49. The previous version did not have the contract amount values filled in, and the updated version has the contract amount values filled in.
Thank you.
I move approval of the agenda as amended.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor? And we'll do a roll call vote since we are all wearing masks. It's easier to follow along if we do a roll call vote. So, Mr. Miller?
Aye.
Dr. Benitez?
Aye.
Ms. Kerr?
Aye.
and I vote aye. So hearing no opposition or abstentions, that motion passes 4-0. Also, did I mention it looks different? So I'm used to following along the old agenda. This is, anyhow, moving right along. Approval of minutes.
I move to approve.
Second?
Discussion?
We're going to get through this meeting, right? This feels all like new.
Yes. Well, we've had a lot of experience getting through meetings, so I think we'll do just fine. Okay, so all in favor by roll call vote. Mr. Miller?
Aye.
Dr. Benitez?
Aye.
Ms. Kerr?
Aye.
And I vote aye. So hearing no opposition or abstentions, that motion passes 4-0. Unfortunately, we don't have a student board member because it is summer. Our schools are not in session. So we look forward to having our students back when school reopens for the fall semester. Communications.
We have a special feature tonight that is a student from Cabrillo High School, Kayla Coulter.
Hello, my name is Kayla Coulter. My pronouns are she, her, and I go to Cabrillo High School, and I'm a very, very creative person. I like creating videos. I like making music, not with an instrument though. That's too hard. But I like doing it on GarageBand with like synthesizers and everything. I like writing. I like reading. I like working to keep my mind stimulated so that I'm not like bored. I'm busy 24/7. And I like working out also, but not too much because I want to, keep on doing creative things that'll bring, more creative aspect to my life. It all started in this wonderful place at Cabrillo, ASB. Didn't really want to be in ASB in the first place, but I was there because of Mr. Hudson, who brought me into ASB. And once I got into ASB, I got way more involved in school than I thought I would. I began working at rallies, at sports events, such as a football game we had 2 years ago. I started also participating in rallies during lunchtime, and I started creating small social media posts for Cabrillo's Instagram page. I didn't really run the Instagram page, but I did create some social media posts for them. However, after COVID in my 12th grade year, I started getting a lot more involved when I started creating videos for Cabrillo themselves. And one of the videos that I made was for Cabrillo's orientation for freshmen, for the freshmen that didn't really have a choice to come on campus because of COVID. So, yeah. A way that I'm going to put what I learned here in my internship at a college university is to put my work experience and work ethic and what I learned here into another internship that I might take on that allows me to also create videos and content, not just for UCSB, but maybe for like other places in the real world that might need videos created for them.
Well, we may not have a student in person, but that's wonderful to see our students highlighted that way. So thank you for another inspirational video.
And I'm sorry to interrupt, but Dr. Baker, there's something special about that video as well, right? As the creators were some...
Yes, thank you for remembering that, Mr. Miller. I failed to say that Kayla created the video for herself. So not only is she an exceptional student, but she also created that video through our marketing media services to share with us. Thank you for remembering that.
Oh, very good. Thank you. Okay, now we are at public testimony on items listed on the agenda. I don't believe we have any. Okay. So now we go to testimony on items not listed on the agenda, and we will start with Justin Yee.
ជំរាបសួរទាំងអស់គ្នាខ្ញុំបាទឈ្មោះ Justin Yi
My name is Justin Yi.
ខ្ញុំនឹងចូលរៀននៅថ្នាក់ទី
I will be entering into 8th grade
នៅសាលាមធ្យមសិក្សាឈ្មោះសាលា Lindbergh
in Lindbergh Middle School
នៅរដូវស្លឹកឈើជ្រុះខាងមុខនេះ
in this coming fall.
ខ្ញុំមិនសូវចេះភាសាខ្មែរបានល្អជ្រៅជ្រះដោយកូនសិស្សដែលរៀននៅសាលាឯស្រុកខ្មែរទេ
I do not know the Khmer language as well as the students that are in Cambodia right now.
ពីព្រោះសាលាក្រុង Long Big ពុំមានកម្មវិធីបង្ហាត់បង្រៀនភាសាខ្មែរ
Because the schools in Long Beach do not have program to teach the Cambodian or the Khmer language.
នៅពេលខ្ញុំមានអាយុប្រមាណ 4 ទៅ 5 ឆ្នាំ
At the time when I was at the age from 4 to 5 years old, there was no programs that teaches Khmer language here in Long Beach.
ខ្ញុំបានរៀនចេះនិយាយចេះសរសេរនិងចេះអានបានបន្តិចបន្តួចអំពីប៉ាម៉ាក់របស់ខ្ញុំ
I was able to learn how to read, write, and speak a little bit because of the effort of my parents.
ដែលខិតខំបង្ហាត់បង្រៀនខ្ញុំនៅផ្ទះតាំងពីខ្ញុំនៅតូចអាយុប្រហែល 3 ទៅ 4 ឆ្នាំ
That they tried their best to teach me since I was very little. When at the age about 3 to 4 years old, they tried to teach me.
ឥឡូវនេះខ្ញុំមានអាយុ 13 ឆ្នាំហើយប៉ុន្តែខ្ញុំពុំមានចំណេះខាងភាសាខ្មែរ
Right now, I am 13 years old, but I do not have the command of the Khmer language.
ច្បាស់លាស់ដែលអាចមានសមាធិ
Clearly, so that I would have the ability or the proficiency enough to
ប្រើប្រាស់ជាផ្លូវការបានឡើយ
so I can use it officially.
ដូច្នេះខ្ញុំស្នើសុំឲ្យគណៈកម្មការក្រុមប្រឹក្សាសាលាមេតាផ្ដល់ឱកាសដែលខ្ញុំបាទពុំបាន
Therefore, I am making a request to the committee board members to give an opportunity and the chance that I did not have.
ទទួលនេះដល់កុមារតូចៗអាយុពី 4 ទៅ 5 ឆ្នាំ
Give this opportunity to the young children at the ages of 4 to 5 years old.
ឲ្យមានសំណាងបានរៀនអំពីភាសាវប្បធម៌និងអរិយធម៌
So that they would have the great fortune of learning the Khmer language, the culture, and the civilization.
ផ្ទាល់ខ្លួនរបស់ពួកគាត់ក៏ដូចជាពួកគេរៀនអំពីភាសាវប្បធម៌របស់សាសអ្នកដទៃទៀតដែរ
So they would have the opportunity to personally experience the Khmer culture, language, and civilization, just like that they have opportunity here in America to learn and experience about other cultures also here in America.
ហើយពួកគេអាចនឹងថែរក្សានៅអត្តសញ្ញាណរបស់ពួកគេជាជនជាតិខ្មែរអាមេរិកាំងផងដែរ
So that they can safeguard their cultural heritage as a Khmer America.
ជាពិសេសពួកគេអាចមានឱកាសភ្ជាប់ទំនាក់ទំនងជាមួយក្រុមគ្រួសារនិងមិត្តភ័ក្តិរបស់ពួកគេ
Especially so that they can maintain and connect with their family relationship that are not here in America and their friends.
ព្រមទាំងអាចមានជំនាញខាងមុខងារបានប្រសើរជាងរូបខ្ញុំ
As well as they would have skill to have an opportunity to find jobs in the future using the language better than I had.
ដែលចេះភាសាខ្មែរមានកម្រិតទាបដូចសពថ្ងៃនេះ
Because I didn't have the opportunity, because I didn't get the chance to learn the Khmer language right now. So I'm asking you to give them the chance that I didn't have.
ខ្ញុំបាទជឿជាក់ថាកូនសិស្សទាំងអស់ត្រូវបានទទួលនៅឲ្យឱកាសគ្រប់យ៉ាងស្មើៗគ្នា
I believe that all students should receive equal opportunity in learning.
នៅពេលពួកគេកំពុងនៅក្នុងការសិក្សាអប់រំដែលពួកគេមានវ័យនៅក្មេង
Especially when they're in school and they're young.
ខ្ញុំបាទសូមអរគុណជាច្រើនចំពោះការយកចិត្តទុកដាក់ស្ដាប់នៅការស្នើសុំរបស់ខ្ញុំបាទ
I thank you very much for your time and attention and in listening to my request.
ដែលជាតំណាងរបស់ប្រជាជនខ្មែររស់នៅនៃទីក្រុង Long Beach.
My request is from me, but I represent all of the people, Khmer people in Long Beach.
Well, thank you, Justin,
Thank
for
you.
being here.
Okay, welcome, Justin.
Next, we have Anthony Guerrero.
That's not mine.
Okay, all right.
Good afternoon, Board President Diana Craighead, Board members, Superintendents, Dr. Jill Baker, and executive staff. My name is Anthony Torn Guerrero, and I am the KPA peer leader of Youth Inspiring Change and Unity. This item is not on the agenda. Growing up as a student of the Long Beach Unified School District, I was raised by a Cambodian mother and a Mexican father. I am proud of my mixed heritage because I gained a greater appreciation of the cultural richness that exists in this community. Without the people I grew up with, I would not be raised to be the person that I am today. I believe that the Khmer Dual Language Immersion Program can serve to benefit the students of Long Beach Unified School District because this program can prepare them for employment in the global job market. Just as with the Spanish Dual Language Immersion Program, the Khmer Dual Language Immersion Program will allow students to develop their fluency and literacy in Khmer that they can use both in the public and private sectors, including education, health, and information. The KDLI program will benefit learners who earned a seal of biliteracy with their high school diploma because they have attained the proficiency in their language that will make them attractive for employers and university recruiters. It is with these reasons that the Khmer Dual Language Immersion Program can serve to benefit society with citizens that are ready to transfer what they learn from the classroom into the real world. Please allocate the LCAP budget for the implementation of the Khmer Dual Language Immersion Program in the Long Beach Unified School District so both Khmer and non-Khmer students alike can have the opportunity to participate in an educational experience that will benefit the city of Long Beach. Thank you for your attention. Som Akun.
Thank you, Anthony. Next, we have I'm going to have trouble pronouncing this. Sokani? And please help me out with the pronunciation.
My name is Sakani Lim. Okay. My name is Sakani Lim. I just got promoted from Whittier Elementary School to 6th grade in fall 2021. My dad said that this item is not on the agenda. I am in the online Khmer language class with Miss Chan Hobson. I like to learn new Khmer words. I also learn about our traditions and values. I am too old for Khmer dual language program, but I wish I can have the Khmer language program every day at school so I can learn a lot more. Therefore, it will still benefit me and my little brother. If school will include the Khmer Heritage language program in the school curriculum in fall 2021, so me and my little brother and other kids in the online Khmer class can continue to learn our Khmer language and culture. We already enjoy learning since 2019. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Sokani. Next we have Angelina.
Good afternoon, Board President Diana Craighead, board members, Superintendent Dr. Jill Baker, and executive staff. My name is Angelina Tran. I was a student at Cal State Fullerton, and I'm transferring to Long Beach City College this fall. This item is not on the agenda. ខ្ញុំបានចេះនិយាយភាសាខ្មែរតិចៗពីឪពុកម្ដាយខ្ញុំហើយខ្ញុំបានចេះសរសេរនិងអានភាសាខ្មែរ
You want me to translate? Yeah. Okay. I speak Cambodian language just a little bit, and I learned it from my parents. So here's your speech.
ហើយខ្ញុំបានចេះសរសេរនិងចេះអានភាសាខ្មែរពេលខ្ញុំរៀននៅសាលា Wilson ចំនួន4ឆ្នាំ
And I was able to read and write a little bit because I was studying it at Wilson during the 4 years I was there.
ប៉ុន្តែដោយខ្ញុំមិនបានរៀនភាសាខ្មែរពេលខ្ញុំនៅតូច
However, because I did not get a chance to learn the Khmer language when I was at a young age,
ខ្ញុំមិនសូវស្ទាត់ជំនាញខាងភាសាខ្មែរទេ
my command is not good. I can't, I don't have the expertise that is necessary to have it at a very young age because I learned it at an older age.
ខ្ញុំនិយាយខ្មែរមានសំឡេងមិនសូវច្បាស់លាស់ដែរ
My pronunciation of the Khmer language is not clear and it's not very, it's not straight to the point. It's not direct, correct.
I believe it is very important for children to learn their language at a young age because children learn much faster and much quicker and easier than teenagers and adults. And when they start young, they'll have many, many years of consistent practice. And by the time that they reach the end of high school, they'll be equipped with language skills that can be useful for the rest of their lives. They can use these skills for basic conversation, when traveling, in the workforce, and in their careers. And a person being fluent in their heritage language also helps shape their identity. Language and culture are intertwined. One can't exist without the other. I believe if a student has a strong foundation in both their language and culture, it will help them build a strong sense of identity. And for years, I struggled with my identity. And a huge reason was because of that language loss. I didn't know who I was, and I was also surrounded by so many Khmer Americans that also suffered from language loss. And for a while, I couldn't call myself Khmer American because I spoke broken Khmer to my family. And it is one of my biggest regrets not being able to have the opportunity to properly learn about the Khmer language and culture from a younger age than I did. And the Khmer Dual Language Immersion Program is a wonderful opportunity for future Khmer kids to learn about their heritage. Thank you for your time and attention. Somakon.
Thank you, Angelina. Next, we have Ms. Chan Hobson.
Board President Diana Craighead, Board members, Superintendent Dr. Jill Baker, and executive staff. My name is Chan Hobson. I am the Executive Director of Khmer Parent Association, known as KPA. This item is not on the agenda. I would like to let you know that I miss this place. I'm very happy that we come back and to speak in person because I have a hard time to record my not so beautiful voice in a record message. When I listen to myself, I say, wow, I don't like it. So I like this way. First of all, I would like to express my deep appreciation to Dr. Jill Baker and her executive staff for making time from her tight schedule to have a cordial meeting with parents and myself on Friday, June 25th, regarding our request for the implementation of the Khmer Dual Language Immersion, and to have the Khmer Language Heritage Program as part of the curriculum for the older students so they can have a better understanding of their language and culture. To assist with the implementation of the Khmer Dual Language Immersion Program, this year, after 27 years, the KPA Scholarship Committee is offering scholarship to Southeast Asian students and non-Southeast Asian students who are planning to become teachers, school administrators, or counselors, or mental health professionals. Therefore, we are looking forward for the Long Beach Unified School District to start recruiting Khmer teachers to start the KDLI planning process to implement it. I also would like to request the KDLI planning process to become an agenda item on August 2021 board meeting. I would like to let you know this Saturday we're gonna have the celebration to congratulate the scholarship recipient that we selected to award this year. So we have the applicant that we already select to become teacher in Khmer language, to become Khmer art teacher, to become professor history in 6-7 years, and the professional administration, the school administration, and other professionals. So I'm preparing the workforce for you. I'm doing my part. So, dear board member, Dr. Jill Baker and executive staff, please do your part. Thank you so much for listening. You see how the kids talk English with a thick accent in Khmer. So their Khmer, their parents, their grandparents cannot understand what they say. So that's why I bring them to show to you how they speak Khmer without the proper instruction in the classroom. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next, we have Mariah.
Good afternoon. I'm Mariah Beery, a teacher in the district for 25 years. As this new school year approaches, we have a few suggestions regarding masks, heat, and noise. Public buildings like the DMV, Health Department, district, and union offices enjoy the comforts of central air. Yet some of our school sites do not have central cooling. September is always our warmest month of the year, and at times the heat is stifling. We all do what we can to make the best of it. When windows are open to increase airflow, outside noise is then brought into the classroom. Jet planes, leaf blowers, construction, and road traffic all impact our learning environment. This is exacerbated by face coverings, where listening and speaking are greatly hindered. In the spring, during in-person learning, we had half classes for 2.5 hours when the temperature was mild. We are planning ahead as how to return in the fall with full classes when the temperature is the hottest of the year. Physical comfort is the first priority in a positive learning space. Perhaps mask wearing should be optional at non-air-conditioned school sites if possible. Please consider minimum days for the month of September in advance before the heat advisory days for sites waiting to be upgraded with central air. Minimum days are a tremendous help. Another idea is to bring in cooling stations like those used by sports teams to non-air-conditioned school sites. Please ensure that every window, door, transom is opened on a daily basis to maximize airflow. At some locations, high transom windows have been nailed shut for security reasons. Please schedule district landscaping crews before or after school at non-air-conditioned sites to reduce the noise and so teachers can open their windows and doors. In the future, please consider modifying the school calendar to begin school in late September and perhaps end a little bit later in June until all sites received electrical upgrades, dual pane windows, and insulation. Heat and noise are a measurable challenge in the classroom. Face masks compound the problem and have an effect on maintaining a desirable, comfortable learning space. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Berry. Next, we have Michelle Hamlin.
Good evening. My name is Michelle Magallon Hamlin, and I thank you for the opportunity to speak today. Recently, LA County Sheriff Villanueva stated forcing the vaccinated and those who already contracted COVID-19 to wear masks indoors is not backed by science and contradicts CDC guidelines. Based on extreme research, I'm actually going to take it a step further and say forcing children who are very low risk at contracting or spreading the virus should not be forced to wear masks. Parents should exercise their parental rights to make the choice on what is best for their children, as there is medical freedom and civil rights protecting them, and this elected body should be taking the same position of choice. The school board released a statement that parent input via surveys informed their decision, as well as other inputs. The questions on the survey never gave parents the option to opt out of masks. That was never an option. Therefore, parents who took that stance were disenfranchised and had no voice. The fact is that mask wearing is proven to have negative effects on physical, psychological, and behavioral health per results of multiple studies globally. A study done with over 24,000 students participating in Germany reported the average child wore a mask for 270 minutes per day. Irritability, difficulty concentrating, impaired learning and drowsiness, fatigue, shortness of breath, dizziness, accelerated breathing, tightness in chest, less happy, reluctance to attend school with mask, malaise, short-term impairment in consciousness are just a few of what was reported. Dr. Paul Alexander, who has a BA, MA in epidemiology, a PhD in research methods, evidence, and impact, compiled research done on the topic. Children not only have extremely low risk, but also that they naturally have the capability of evading SARS-CoV-2 due to the lack of ACE2 receptors in their nostrils. Dr. Marguerite Griess-Brisson, MD, PhD, who's one of the top experts in Europe, said that she actually went on record saying that the rebreathing of our exhaled air will without a doubt create oxygen deficiency and a flooding of carbon dioxide, We know that the human brain is very sensitive to oxygen depravity. Impacts on the cognitive development of children also are affected. This is even more critical in relation to children with special needs, children on the autism spectrum who need to be able to recognize facial expressions as part of their ongoing development are severely impacted. Dr. Blaylock, another expert in the field, says that if you are not sick, you should not wear a mask. By wearing a mask, the exhaled viruses will not be able to escape and will concentrate in the nasal passages, enter the olfactory nerves, and travel into the brain. Dr. Alexander, who wrote this and put this study together, said that if you wouldn't put a child in the front seat of your Prius without disabling the airbag, think twice before putting or requiring an otherwise healthy child to wear a mask or even forcing them to social distance in school.
I'm
So
sorry.
I'm dismayed at the lack
sorry,
of
but
facts.
your time is up.
You allowed the others to go over slightly, if I may. I'm
Are
in
you
closing.
are you
I'm
gonna-
closing.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm dismayed at the lack of fact-based leadership and decision-making from this body, and against everything that I want to do, I'm compelled to serve the community first. And so I'm going to do what needs to be done and be a voice for those who strongly hold these beliefs. I am announcing my candidacy for Long Beach School Board for 2022 election, District 5. Thank you so much for your time, and God bless you guys.
Thank you. Okay, now we were at staff report. Dr. Baker.
All right, thank you, Mrs. Craighead and Board of Education. Tonight, I will be providing what is more of a status report on our Learning Acceleration and Support Plan, different than the last 4 sessions where we have gone in depth to the different pillars of this plan. So tonight's status report is just to allow the board, or to let the board know that we are actually ahead of schedule in preparing to post the publicly facing version of our entire Learning Acceleration and Support Plan. This is exciting for us to be ahead of schedule. It also, we're ahead of schedule while we have more than 15,000 students in summer programming, which is a part of the Learning Acceleration and Support Plan. We have family resource centers that are actively serving families. We are actively preparing for the opening of the new school year, and several of the things in the Learning Acceleration Support Plan are being planned. And we have thousands of staff participating in professional development around culturally relevant instruction, around social emotional learning, and around better serving our English language learners, among the many things that are in the Learning Acceleration and Support Plan. So while this plan has not been publicly published in its entirety, you've heard the components of it, and we look forward to sharing it probably by the end of the week with the public loaded to our website. Just to give a little bit of context and reminder for those who may have not heard us talk about the Learning Acceleration and Support Plan at this point, this is a non-required plan. This is our district team's effort to bring coherence to the many strategies and programs and processes that exist across our district. We have brought together a number of research-based strategies, programs, and processes as a way of talking about our commitment to our students based on our student needs. It's also the opportunity for us to assess those programs and practices that are designed to meet the needs of students. And so in the Learning Acceleration Support Plan, you might remember that we also have program evaluation built into the plan, which on a regular basis will help us to learn and study our own success in the programming, and then also as the Learning Acceleration Support Plan matriculates into the 2nd and 3rd year, and we may have to make choices about funding and either continuing programs or discontinuing programs, we will have program evaluation data to help us make those decisions. And so also as a reminder, this isn't new, but just it's different than the way that many districts talk about a plan like this, and I'm proud of our team that has come together across academics and the business side of the house to really think about how to best use multiple resources, both one-time funds, so you have heard a lot of conversation from us and in the public about the almost $500 million that's coming in as one-time funds. Those are both state and federal funds, but also braided with ongoing funds. So thinking about the longevity and programs that we expect will last beyond this one-time opportunity for us. Title I and LCFF, to name a couple, all in needs to the comprehensive service to our student needs and thinking about them as whole people and of the needs of all of our students. Another reminder, this is a multi-year plan. So again, when you hear the $500 million coming to the district in addition to our $1.1 billion budget, that's a lot of money. It is a plan that will take us several years out. Right now, most of the funds, the last expiration is 3 years out in the years of 23, 24, but we're also expecting that there will be some adjustments to those dates that will allow us to use funds beyond that. And so again, reminder, but you can see the images of what will be posted to our website shortly. And that is the pillars of academic acceleration and support, social emotional well-being, engagement and voice, and infrastructure and capital for the future. The plan document starts with an overview of our student achievement data. And so the public will also have access to data distilled down to information that they can consume and that they can think about from their own school perspective, but also from a broad perspective on behalf of the district. And then each of the pillars comes with a specific description. So this is an example, just an image of Pillar 1, academic acceleration and support. Comes with a description of what that means in our district. It comes with a theory of action, and then it comes importantly with the goals related to excellence and the goal or goals related to equity and how this plan addresses both in each of those pillars. Another example of what the public will have access to, I must be clicking the wrong direction. There we go. So here's an image. The image is out of the plan for Pillar 4, which is infrastructure and capital for the future. Each of the pillars will have a project and program with a narrative that describes what's going on in that program. So if a member of the public is interested in knowing what is a brief description of that, that's there as a narrative. The plan lays out, and this document lays out the lead office. So if a member of the public or a district staff member wants to talk to somebody about that program, the lead office is identified, and then the annual projected expense for the specific area that is being laid out as part of the plan. And then lastly, in each of the presentations, we have discussed a public budget tracker. And so our team will be launching a public budget tracker for the Learning Acceleration Support Plan that will be laid out by pillar and will be updated quarterly, which is our attempt to continue to inform the public about how the dollars are being spent and to monitor that investment through the different pillars that have been designed in the Learning Acceleration and Support Plan. So each of the last several meetings, we've clicked off on this closing timeline. And so the last thing that's there is by August 1st, we committed, a couple of months ago, we committed to by August 1st having the plan available on the district website. And so I'm pleased to say tonight that we may beat that by a couple of weeks. It's been going through its final edits and translation, and will be posted to the district website for sure by August 1st and potentially by the end of this week. Really just a status update tonight on that plan. Certainly take any questions that you want to ask at a broad level. And
Dr. Benitez.
Thank you, Dr. Baker. And I've sort of asked different iterations of this question as you've been presenting the plan pillar by pillar. So in our district's efforts to have as many students start this new school year in person safely, could you talk a little bit about just a couple of examples of the plan as to what may feel or look or be different starting the new year as it's reflected across these four pillars for our student starting the school year in person?
So, and thank you for acknowledging our desire to have all of our students return to in-person instruction. That's really important that we want all of our students to be in their classrooms. So one of the things that I can feature is the readiness of those classrooms from a safety perspective. And students will experience a Long Beach version of what we're calling a restorative restart. And that is an opportunity for them to engage in more social emotional learning, those early days of school, to interact with their peers and their teacher in a way that's more relationship-centered. And some might say not get right down to business in those first few days of school. And so it will also be an opportunity for our staff, all of our teachers and certificated staff who's gone through training with our Office of Curriculum, Instruction, and Professional Development to come right into their classroom and apply either skills that they already had and were reminded of, or those new tools and ways that our district staff has helped them to even think about their teaching differently when students come in. So in many of our unit guides, teachers will have resources and tools that are called Smart Start. So it's a way of approaching that beginning of the year that really centers well-being and centers relationships. So do you want more detail, or is that okay? That's great.
Do we have any other questions or comments? Wonderful, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I know this is something we've been talking about all along, so we appreciate the summary on that. Okay, moving to business items. The certificated personnel report. Mr. Miller.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. I know today's report looks a little different than what we're used to seeing, so we'll be breaking it up into two parts here. So I present the following proposed actions prepared by the Assistant Superintendent of Human Resource Services and approved and recommended by the Superintendent. Just the certificated personnel. Appointments, we have 109. In-service changes, we have 503. Leaves of absence, we have 6. Resignations, we have 10. Retirements, we have 9. And amendments, we have 2. Those are the certificated personnel.
So are we moving two separate actions,
Correct.
Mr. Miller? So I move to approve.
Second?
Discussion? All in favor by roll call vote. Mr. Miller?
Aye.
Dr. Benitez?
Aye.
Ms. Kerr?
Aye.
Mr. Otto? Aye. And I vote aye. So hearing no opposition or abstentions, that motion passes unanimously. Classified personnel report. Mr. Miller?
And you may have heard this before. I present the following proposed actions prepared by the Assistant Superintendent of Human Resource Services, approved and recommended by the Superintendent. This is just the classified and exempt personnel. Appointments, 375. Leaves of absence, we have 11. Abandonments of the position, we have 1. Terminations of service, we have 1. Resignations, we have 9. Retirements, we have 3. And amendments, we have 1. This is for the classified and exempt personnel.
Move approval.
Second.
Discussion?
Just a quick, as we're approving these personnel decisions, Mr. Zaid, could you give us a quick update on how we're doing in terms of hires, the important work that's been going on, getting us ready for a new school year start?
Sure, I'd be happy to just share that our hiring is underway. As you know, we have a mandatory training that we are doing in August, and so our human resource team has been working really, really hard behind the scenes. To date, we have rehired already around 275, and then our new hires, brand new to Long Beach Unified School District, is also around 275. And so we're in the process of processing all of them right now. Processing includes fingerprinting, it includes TB tests, it includes what's called an I-9 or medical assessments that new hires do. And so we're in the process of working fast and furious on this first floor, and also looking to provide an annual report shortly on our workforce diversity goals as well.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor with a roll call vote. Mr. Miller?
Aye.
Dr. Benitez?
Aye.
Ms. Kerr?
Aye.
Mr. Otto?
Aye.
And I vote aye. So hearing no opposition or abstentions, that motion passes unanimously. Instruction report.
Move approval?
Second.
Discussion.
Yes, if we can, I would love to have Dr. Simon speak to item 6 about being named as a co-author on a document for serving foster youth, because I know it's been a labor of love for you the last couple of years. So talk to us about what you've been doing.
Thank you, Board Member Kerr. This has been a 3-year process to where we've worked with several other districts, some smaller in size, with the common goal of finding best practices for our foster youth. So with this kind of collaborative, we've worked with the Alliance for Children's Rights in order to find ways to identify barriers to the success of youth in foster care in school, find solutions, to these barriers, and then create a best practice guide that can help districts work in the same way. The guide also helps our districts analyze their data in a continuous improvement cycle to evaluate their effectiveness with their foster youth as well. So it goes into AB 216, which speaks to credits, and also some of our foster youth potentially graduating earlier. And also many other data points that districts can use in order to mitigate barriers for our foster youth. So again, very excited about this process. Dr. Sosa Valderrama has taken over in this work with the Alliance for Children's Rights and also with other districts, but I had the pleasure of really being a part of the initial conversations for the first 2 years in order to help build this guide. Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations on all that hard work.
Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor. Mr. Miller?
Aye.
Dr. Benitez?
Aye.
Ms. Kerr?
Aye.
Mr. Otto?
Aye.
And I vote aye. So hearing no opposition or abstentions, that motion passes unanimously. Finance Report A.
Move approval. Second.
Discussion? All in favor. Mr. Miller?
Aye.
Dr. Benitez?
Aye.
Ms. Kerr?
Aye.
Mr. Otto?
Aye.
And I vote aye. So hearing no opposition, or abstentions, that motion passes unanimously. Finance Report B.
Move approval. Second.
Discussion?
Yes, Madam Chair, I recuse myself from participation in Finance Report B on the consent calendar. I have a potential financial interest under Government Code 1091 and 87100. My husband works for a subcontractor who has done work for the payees.
Thank you. Mr. Miller?
Aye.
Dr. Benitez?
Aye.
Mr. Otto?
Aye.
And I vote aye. So that motion passes 4-0 with 1 abstention. Business Department Report.
Move approval?
Second.
Discussion? All in favor. Mr. Miller?
Aye.
Dr. Benitez?
Aye.
Ms. Kerr?
Aye.
Mr. Otto?
Aye.
And I vote aye. So hearing no opposition or abstentions, that motion passes unanimously. Purchasing and Contracts Report.
Move approval. Second.
Discussion? Okay, all in favor. Mr. Miller?
Aye.
Dr. Benitez?
Aye.
Ms. Kerr?
Aye.
Mr. Otto?
Aye.
And I vote aye. So hearing no opposition or abstentions, that motion passes unanimously. Other items, we go to the Superintendent.
Thank you. I have 2 items this evening. The first is an information item presenting you with the quarterly Williams report that identifies 2 complaints and 2 resolutions to those complaints. The second is administrative assignments. So I'm pleased to make the recommendation of 7 administrative assignments tonight. Starting with the first, Laura Martin, currently assistant principal at Hoover Middle School, to Principal Beach K-12 Independent Study. Danielle Wright, a new hire from outside the district, to Buffum Total Learning Center principal. Dr. Seema Paul, from her current role as Program Administrator Secondary Schools to Program Administrator of MTSS, Multi-Tier Systems of Support in the Office of School Support Services. Dr. Wendy Rosenquist, from Administrative Assistant in Special Education to Program Administrator Secondary Schools in Special Education. Athena Airbus, from Teacher Special Education at Jefferson to Administrative Assistant in Special Education. And Alyssa Taylor, a promotion from Teacher on Special Assignment in the Equity Access College Career Office to Administrative Assistant in Equity, Engagement, and Partnerships Office. And lastly, Susana Cortez, current social worker at Tucker Administrative Offices to Program Specialist Social Worker in our expanded Foster Youth Unit. Susana will lead as Program Specialist. Thank you.
Move approval.
Second?
Discussion? Okay, all in favor, Mr. Miller?
Aye.
Dr. Benitez?
Aye.
Ms. Kerr?
Aye.
Mr. Otto?
Aye.
And I vote aye. So hearing no opposition or abstentions, that motion passes unanimously. And congratulations to all of those just listed. Okay. Did we need to take a vote on the Williams report or accept that?
You do not.
No.
Thank
Okay.
you. Thanks for checking.
I just wanted to make sure that we didn't skip that. Well, that's better. Unfinished business, we have none. Moving on to new business. Contract waivers.
Move approval.
Second?
Discussion. All in favor, Mr. Miller?
Aye.
Dr. Benitez?
Aye.
Ms. Kerr?
Aye.
Mr. Otto?
Aye.
And I vote aye. So hearing no opposition or abstentions, that item passes unanimously. Award of leaseback contract for the Jordan High School construction of new classroom building, Phase 2B.
Move approval.
Second?
Discussion.
Just exciting. Really good stuff. Looking forward to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a podium.
I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. We were on a roll. We kept moving. Mr. Miranda.
We got to set them up, Madam President. We got to say.
I know.
I have a bunch of questions. I'd love to know all the details about what's going on.
Every single detail of this project. So just as you're excited about this project, so too are we over in facilities. A little bit of background information just for context first on the project and the process, and then we'll go into a few of the highlights. So first and foremost, Education Code Section 17400 and 17406 established the framework for selection of leaseback contractors in our state. Really, the Ed Code sets the framework for being able to select a contractor based on best value and via a competitive selection process. We take it a few steps further, so we make contractors compete to get on our pre-qualified pool of leaseback providers. We then make them compete a second go around for specific projects. So we know we're standing on solid ground. Every one of these contractors that's on our pool of pre-qualified providers, there's nine of them, are fully capable and experienced to do this type of work. With respect to Jordan Phase 2B, this particular project, we put a request for proposals out to these contractors this spring, so roughly in April of 2021. 4 of the 9 pre-qualified contractors submitted bids, so we vetted them out. We fully assessed them based on the criteria as set forth by the board resolution. That included items such as total cost, contractor overhead and profit, total cost of financing, local hire practices, the proposed methodology and approach on this particular project, and of course the team experience on this project as well. Not only did we screen the proposals, we also interviewed each of these contractors, really put them to the ringer, asked them a bunch of questions along the way to land at the true best value. Based on all the criteria set forth per Ed Code and per our resolution, it was determined that Erickson Hall Construction provided the best value to the district on this particular project. They're coming off of successful projects over at Cubberley and Prisk. They've done at least half a dozen projects for us in the past on several different types of projects, and they're just a good contractor. With respect to Jordan Phase 2B, the general scope of this project includes a new 2-story classroom building, 14 state-of-the-art classrooms, which is great. Also includes demolition of 4 existing single-story structures, some site work, a few modifications to a small parking lot, a new courtyard, and a new lunch shelter as well. Really going to continue with the transformation of the campus over at Jordan High School, which we're looking forward to. Also, we're excited that this is the first project under our Community Workforce Development Agreement. This agreement was set forth and established last year. Of course, with the projects, they take a while to come to fruition in terms of design process, the state architect process, the bidding process, and so forth. So here we are, ready to set forth on this process, this project. And just as a general reminder, the agreement includes a number of incentives and benefits to the district and to our community. This includes local hire percentages, right, which we've kind of established at roughly 20%. We're looking at 40% in terms of the agreement. Student priority into the apprenticeship programs, as well as assistance for disadvantaged students via scholarship programs. So we're very excited about the project, very excited to really implement this Community Workforce Development Agreement, and like I noted, to continue on with the campus transformation over at Jordan.
Thank you. Okay, now we can proceed with questions. Ms. Kerr?
Yeah, I just want to thank you for your hard work on this project. For anyone who hasn't been on Jordan's campus lately, it really is a sight to behold, and that this this is going to happen in the front of the campus, so it begins a transformation that has really started in the back of the campus all the way to the front and to Atlantic. So I know the school is looking forward to it. They're thrilled to have fewer construction fences, so it does isolate the construction for the first time in a couple of years, so that the flow of the campus is really exciting for the return of our students this fall, and they get to see more great work. And the Community Workforce Agreement, you know, the department worked really hard on that with our labor partners, and I'm really grateful for that and looking forward to seeing that all come to fruition.
As a note, I should add, our goal will be to start this project really within the next couple of weeks. I should have said that earlier. And the goal being, let's start demolition as best we can before the start of school as well. So we'll get our fence lines up, get temporary fencing secured. That way students come back already know what the fence lines look like.
Okay, Dr. Benitez.
Ditto what Board Member Kerr shared about the excitement about the new workforce agreement project. My question is one that I've actually asked Alan a couple times, Mr. Miranda. I guess I'll put you on the spot. Could you share with us what a lease-back contract is and how that's different from other contracts, and why that's, in most cases, a preferred option for us?
Absolutely, great question. There's a number of different delivery methods for construction, school construction in particular. The most traditional is what we call design, bid, build, where we have an architect design a building, we go through a bid process, we then hire contractors or subcontractors to build. With a building program our size, that's difficult to achieve, right? If we were to hold every one of those specific subcontracts and for us to oversee the work, the day-to-day operations of every one of those subcontracts across half a dozen to a dozen projects, that becomes very difficult, if not impossible. Lease-back allows us to go with one general contractor, allows us to go with a contractor who's been vetted throughout this process that we actually described this evening, and in many cases, they provide their services on the front end of a project. So they can perform pre-construction services, as we call it. They come in and do estimating. They assist with the input during the design stage as well. And then there's continuity throughout the project. I referenced how it's difficult with the traditional approach in overseeing several subcontracts. In this case, we only hold one contract with a general, per se, and they in turn oversee all of the subcontractors. They also then go through a bidding process. So we, in essence, hire the one general. They in turn go through a bidding process to truly vet out every specific subcontractor on the project, also via best value delivery method as well. So lease-back is a term that may sound a little odd for those not in the industry. In essence, we enter into an actual lease agreement with the contractor. They in turn provide us the end product, right, which is construction. and we pay back. So there's the lease back portion of it. We pay back in terms of pay applications during the course of construction.
Okay, do we have any more questions or comments from Mr. Miranda? In that case, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we look forward to this next phase of construction for Jordan. It's very exciting. Okay, so we had the motion already, so all in favor, Mr. Miller?
Aye.
Dr. Benitez?
Aye.
Ms. Kerr?
Aye.
Mr. Otto?
Aye.
And I vote aye. So hearing no opposition or abstentions, that motion passes unanimously. Yes. Equity policy development update. Dr. Brown.
Hi, good evening. Thank you for the opportunity. I'm pleased to give an update on the really impactful work of our equity leadership team. We continue to work on a latest draft of the equity policy. We've spent the last 2 weeks seeking input from community district work groups to include students. We are in the process of incorporating that feedback into the document, and we'll be meeting again on Thursday as an equity leadership team to come up with what I think will be a final draft of the document. Just as a recap, we'll be bringing that to you via board workshop with presentation by team members on August 17th, and then be asking for your consideration of the policy on August 18th. So I wanted to highlight this evening one of the questions that we have both asked ourselves, that we've been asked already, and that we will be asked again, and that is, have we sought enough community input into the policy? And I want to preface that by saying that I'm not aware of another board policy that we have where we've sought any community feedback. In fact, I can think of only a few policies that I am aware of where we've sought a lot of staff input. Typically, a policy comes from recommendation by the California School Board Association. We adopt the guidelines. We make the policy reflective of the practices that we have in the district, and we move forward. And so it seems fitting and right that the first time we've engaged in this policy, community voice experience has been around our equity work, where it's never more important to hear the lived experience of our community, to include our staff in that process. And so with respect to the question that we will continue to ask ourselves, have we sought enough community input in this policy? The answer to that, when we have a school district of 69,000 students with parents and caretakers who represent them, will always be no. But have we sought a lot of community input in the creation of the policy? Absolutely. Does the policy reflect community experience? Absolutely. To include both the experience of our staff and our students, as well as our community members. And can we do more? Absolutely. So part of the sentiment that's been expressed by the equity leadership team and by our community is that if we're truly working on equity, first of all, we should never be comfortable, and that's proven to be true through this process. And then secondly, that we will always modify, adjust, and keep this as a very fluid policy. If this policy lives for 10 years, we're not doing our best work. And so one of the asks and the commitments of the team and of the district that we're making around this work is that we will continue to modify, adjust, and revise as we go forward, and really show the community that their lived experience is the guide by which we want to gauge our work, and we'll continue to seek that in a variety of ways. And the process that I see happening already is that the more we reach out in the spirit of true engagement, the more input we get, and that is good for everyone. I welcome any questions that you have, and just continue to express deep gratitude to the people on our committee who have really worked very hard and been vulnerable and open and authentic in the process.
Looks like we have a question from Mr. Miller.
Yeah, just really quickly, I just wanted to thank you. As we've gone through this process, I know that you've been working with a number of community groups. Funny enough, I think a decent amount of them are in my district. And one of the things that you said when it came to this policy is the space to evolve. And that is really, really important when we're talking about equity, is that not necessarily that our priorities evolve, but our understanding evolves. And so to create that space and recognize that we need to have that space shows that we already are on the right track. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Dr. Benitez?
Yet, so I have a partial sort of, I know that it was an open-ended question, Dr. Brown, but I have a partial thought on the feeling of, answering, when do we have enough community input? And I think for me, this is a very unique process, right? As you shared, can't think of a time where we had another sort of community-driven policy. Is whether you feel there's a sense from those that have been actively participating. I know we had some district staff as part of the equity leadership team, sort of what their thoughts have been, the community members' thoughts. What has the participation been like? I know that not everyone makes it to all the meetings all the time. And then related to that, I do recall that we had an additional 20 community members from our respective districts sort of playing that, I forgot what we call that additional community group.
Right.
What, if any, role or have they had or will they have between now and the 17th workshop?
I appreciate the question. The sentiment of the equity leadership team has been one that we recognized from the beginning that we would not all agree on every word in the document, but that we really needed to agree on key concepts and make sure that the values that were reflected through the group were reflective in the document. The way we've talked about it is we need to be all able to put our head on the pillow at night and feel like we're proud of the work that our committee has done together. And I think I am correct in saying that we are at that point. I want to be very transparent and say that we have had staff participating on the committee as well as community members. Those staff, many of whom are also parents in the district, have worn a couple of different hats. And so the question that's been asked by the community members on the committee is it too staff heavy? Are we seeking too much input from staff, and are we getting enough community input? That's really where that question has been born from. We have used the district work groups that you're referring to. Most recently, all of the groups have met, and we've used them as a way of bringing key sections of the policy to them for their input. In fact, I was reviewing all of their feedback earlier today as we began to incorporate that. It's been tremendously valuable to hear what their thoughts are and what their experience has been in actually reading sections of the document. When you've worked with something a lot, it starts to make sense to you. But then when someone else reads it and they say, well, actually, these points could be more clear, we've got some really great feedback to move forward with. And so I think we've learned a lot through the process. I certainly have learned a lot through the process. I have some distinct would do differently if I could do it again, and I'll have opportunity to do that. But I think that going forward, we will continue to have community engagement, community voice around this work, and we'll be using every conversation as we move forward to look towards the next rendition of this document.
Additional question about the last point that you made on the community engagement. So I have found that when our district does really well with the community engagement, it's an ongoing thing where it's part of a larger set of conversations. So if you could share something back to the ELT group, Dr. Brown, it would be, and I shared this with our CAC group when they made their initial recommendations on our inclusion resolution a couple years ago. That part of sort of knowing whether there has been enough authentic community engagement is how we're determining whether we're fulfilling the intent of this policy, right? Because the wordsmithing could go on indefinitely. There will always be things that may not be included there, but the outcomes from the policy, whether that be disenfranchisement of particular student groups, inequities in our student outcomes, those are tangible, right? Those are things that we can see, right? That the intent of the policy is being fulfilled. So I would ask our ELT members and anyone else that's partaking in this ongoing community engagement policy is, to really think hard about what they want to see as outcomes from this policy, because the policy may not be the end-all be-all, but it may help to inform how we operationalize and implement the policy in terms of what they want to see as outcomes, or how they will determine that whether it's in 1 year or in 3 years, whether we've been successful at implementing the policy. So if it's not too much to ask, Dr. Brown, I would sort of take that back to the group and say, well, here's one way for you to know, you're never going to have enough community engagement, but that you feel a sense that community is vested in what's going to be the outcome or outcomes of the policy.
I'll absolutely take that back. It's been a big part of our conversation is how will we know when, fill in the blank. And so I appreciate your sentiment. I remember what you said about the inclusion policy. I was there at the podium, and you said, these are great words, but what actions will support these words? So thank you very much.
Yeah, and just to follow up, and I think that's a great segue as we continue to do board development work. And so as we go out to the community to look at values and goals and guardrails that we'll be looking to formulate with the community, that's already a rich, base of value speak that we can bring to the conversation. So I know in the last 2 years or so, we've done a lot of that engaging with community, but that will have a direct impact on goals, especially specific goals around our learners and student-focused goals. So I'm appreciative of the groundwork that you've been laying unknowingly for the work that we have to do as board members. So I'm grateful to you and to those who are continuing to meet in the summer.
Oh yeah.
It's been a long 17 months, and so that we have community members, especially parents of littles, who are willing to continue to engage over this time, I'm really grateful.
Thank you.
Mr. Otto.
Yes, Dr. Brown, I've been involved in a number of processes, not exactly like this one, but strategic planning for the city, master planning for the aquarium, Long Beach City College things, and in each of those processes, there's kind of an arc. It starts off and things happen, and one of the best or most thrilling parts about engaging in a process like this, and I really take Ms. Kerr's point to heart especially, is that they're unique, and they are their own reward in some ways. And you're almost to the end. You can see the either the trains coming down the tunnel or the light at the end of the tunnel. And what's the arc? What do you take away from this?
I appreciate the question. I think about that a lot, usually at 2 a.m. And I would actually say that I think we're at the beginning of a new way of engaging our community. I think that when we really commit to an excellence and equity initiative, we commit to shifting the power structure that has existed in our bureaucracy and every other for many, many years. And I think that what we're seeing right now is a community that expects to share with us, that expects to tell us what their experience is, and that expects that we will listen. And we will listen by showing that we want to take action, that we want to continue to build that relationship, and that we want to serve all of our students, especially our students who have been historically marginalized. And I'm going to specifically name our Black and students with disabilities as 2 groups that we need to continue to focus on with real specificity, with real rigor, and with a commitment to see and expect a level of achievement that we have not seen prior. And so I appreciate what you said, Mr. Otto, and there definitely is an arc. We're a long way from it, and we've got a lot of hard work to do. So I'm just feeling so grateful that this group specifically has been a pioneer group in the work that we're doing, and I'm also feeling a true level of optimism around all the plans that you have seen laid out and the way that those plans are going to come to fruition to serve our students and our community better.
Great answer.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Brown, and we look forward to August 17th when we get that presentation and hear from members of the group. Let's see. Okay, Chief Communications and Community Engagement Officer Employment Contract. Dr. Baker, you can help us out with this.
Yes, great. It is my pleasure to introduce this item this evening. So I'll begin by sharing a little bit of a story of the last year. So while our team was leading through the global pandemic in our school district, we've also spent the year studying our strengths and studying areas of need as an organization. As part of that study and at the recommendation of this board, we commissioned the National School Public Relations Association to conduct a communication audit in Long Beach Unified School District. That helped us to analyze our communication strategies and all of the ways that we engaged in communication as a school district from an outside perspective, but one of expertise and one of really just affirming and helping us to see things that we might be able to do better. So building on the work of the Public Information Office, our marketing and media services, and in order to really uplift two-way communication and community engagement, as was just talked about, I'm pleased to announce that tonight you'll be introduced to our recommended candidate for the position of Chief Communications and Community Engagement Officer. After multiple rounds of interviews, we're recommending that the board enter into an agreement with Mr. Justin Grayson to fill the position. Prior to the board's consideration of the recommended approval for the employment agreement for this position, in alignment with SB 1436, requirement for introducing actions on items impacting compensation of executive staff, I'm going to read a financial summary of the recommendation for the proposed contract as required. The agreement would commence on August 17th, 2021, and would run for 2 years. The proposed salary is $173,265.31 annually, with a scheduled increase to $182,808.85 annually if the candidate receives a satisfactory or better review upon the 5th month of employment. The agreement includes an additional life insurance provision with annual premiums capped at $3,250. In order for the candidate to move into the attendance area of the district, it also includes moving expenses capped at $10,000. Other benefits are the same as apply to other executive staff. The agreement provides that if there are salary reductions or furloughs, the greatest reduction applied to any employee would be applied to the candidate's salary. So I'm pleased to make the recommendation of Mr. Justin Grayson for the position of Chief Communications and Community Engagement Officer.
I move approval.
Second.
Discussion?
Yes, Madam President, I think for me, thank you, Dr. Baker, for making the recommendation. Sort of three areas for this position that are essential to the work that we've been trying to do, the equity work that Dr. Brown just referenced, is that authentic community engagement piece. And really reflected sort of in two ways. It's that two-way communication that you referenced, Dr. Baker, but it's really in ultimately being reflected by including those communities that historically and to this day have felt disengaged by our district, have either lost trust in our district or have not been able to engage our district in the same ways that other stakeholders have. So that would be one area, right? Genuine, authentic community engagement. The second, for me, has to do with the population specifically that Dr. Brown referenced in our equity piece, right? Whether that be our students and families with students with disabilities, our non-English speaking households, our African-American communities that have, through many historical, structural reasons, not been able to achieve the promise that our district and other public education institutions have promised for families. So it's not just about authentic community engagement, but it's with specific communities in our district. And the third, really, and these are not in order of sequence or priority, they're really reflected in the work that Dr. Baker you referenced, but in the findings from our communications audit, right? That this position comes right out of an action from a finding that we need to build capacity in our district to do better by our communications, our community engagement. And so this is an opportunity to be innovative, to come to this board, right, with outside the box thinking on things that, quite frankly, our district has done well but could do better in, but other areas that our district hasn't fulfilled our promise for all students. So to me, I'm really looking at those three areas because we can establish assessments, measures, evaluation instruments that can pretty much tell us, are we doing right by those things that we have prioritized as a district, as a board, to uphold our community's vision around student success. So I am super excited that we are moving forward in a very swift, expedient way, and that we will be able to see demonstrably whether we're successful with the creation of this position and the big task, but big opportunity before well, we haven't made a decision yet as a board, so I should say after we take action on this decision. So I'm excited about this opportunity, both from the position perspective, but also, again, in terms of our district's capacity to engage authentically.
Well, thank you for mentioning that that's a direct result of that communications audit and that we are acting on that. And I would just like to add to that that it's happened quickly, that staff has been able to work this out so that we can implement this in a very timely manner. Any further discussion?
Yeah.
Oh, Mr. Miller.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited about this item, very similar to Dr. Benitez, but more so from an executive level. I hate to always look at it from an executive level. That's just my background. And so I look at this as a way to really define our brand in the next generation. And so making sure that we have somebody leading the charge, and first, obviously, Jill, but then also someone who's focused just on the communications piece, I think is going to be an important component to making sure that the representation of the district is the same in our elementary schools, to our junior high schools, to our high schools, in regards to the information that they're getting. It's succinct in all levels, and all of that's going to be really important moving forward. And so having somebody leading the charge in that component is quite progressive and quite humbling. So great job.
Mr. Otto.
Yeah. I think there's another component to this that is important, not just this position, but this is our first meeting back here in this building. We have been through a very, very tough time. And I think it's important to acknowledge that. I think that there have been deficits that have been created in our community by what we had to do to keep people safe, to keep us going, and I think that there needs to be some recovery from that. And what I hear with this job and this new focus on telling our story, making people aware of what the Long Beach Unified School District does is so important that people need to hear this. This is by, not by just reputation, but by everybody's standards, a terrific, successful, unified school district. And we need to get that message out. And that's partially because of the deficits and the concerns that have been created by what we've gone through over the last 17 months. And so I see this, excuse me, as a vehicle to do that. I see this as an opportunity. I especially like the title of Chief Communications and Community Engagement Officer, because what we really need to focus on is getting the word out and engaging with the community just in the ways that Dr. Brown has been, excuse me, has been working on. And so I'm excited about this too. I see this as an opportunity for us to let the people that we serve find out who we are and why we do what we do, as well as we do it And that will have benefits for this district. It will take people that are concerned about staying here, people that are worried about maybe there's something else. We'll show them that this is the best place for their students to be. This is the best place where, if we work together, if there is this community engagement, that the future is very, very bright, and we can all take a sigh of relief that we're back in this building, that we're back opened up, that we're looking forward to everybody coming back to school in the fall. And this is a great step in that direction.
Yeah, I just want to thank staff for acting so quickly on this conversation. I know we probably all individually had this conversation with you, Dr. Baker, when you first took over last year as something that was a real priority for us. And so that here we are less than a year later, about to take action on a contract is really a commitment to having listened to us and having listened to the community, that they've really asked for this from us for a while. So I'm grateful for the swift action. I'm also grateful for the impact that this will have on our tremendous educators at every level, from our teachers to our principals to our staff in the executive building here. I think there's a joke oftentimes that we talk about other duties as assigned, and we know for a lot of folks one of those other duties as assigned has been to do communication at levels, whether it's a level office for the grade level or if it's a principal having to do that communication. And so this recommendation really does give that time and energy back to our educators to focus on the student outcomes that we all have talked about, the equity issues that we've all talked about. So I am excited to bring on someone who this is their professional expertise to support our educators in messaging so that they can continue to focus on educating our students.
It sounds like we're ready to vote. So all in favor, Mr. Miller?
Aye.
Dr. Benitez?
Aye.
Ms. Kerr?
Aye.
Mr. Otto?
Aye.
And I vote aye. So hearing no opposition or abstentions, this motion passes unanimously. And let me be the first one to officially welcome Mr. Justin Grayson.
Thank you so much, Board President Craighead, rest of the distinguished members of the board, Superintendent Baker, and all the other executive staff members. I am extremely grateful and honored and also humbled to be standing in front of you all. It feels almost like a full circle moment, lots of different things, but ironically, my first time ever coming to California, my aunt and uncle came from Vegas. I flew into Vegas to meet my aunt and uncle after graduating high school. We drove to California, and the first place my uncle wanted to see was the Korean Friendship Tower in San Pedro. So literally, this is the first community that I saw when I came to California when I was in high school. Also, the fact that in all of my education jobs here in California, Long Beach Unified was talked about with such high esteem that I always wondered, what's going on in Long Beach? What are they doing there that everyone else wants to talk about them? So being here is just an honor. I'm looking forward to this work. I'm passionate about public education. I grew up in Philadelphia, so born and raised there. And no Fresh Prince jokes, please, because I know they're coming. But ironically, I went to Montessori school for preschool. I went to the strictest public school for first, second grade, and I think I was a little bit too energetic for that school, so they recommended that I go to another school. So I went to public school up until sixth grade when I went to a private school in Pennsylvania. Left there after 1 year, went back to public school, went to a historically black college, have taken classes at University of Northern Iowa, which is not historically black. But I've been in so many different spaces that I feel like I have an understanding. My first job out of college was at ABC News, where I got to work under Ted Koppel and Peter Jennings for Nightline and World News Tonight. And one of the things that I remember someone telling me was that you can walk into any room and speak the language of the people. Another thing that a mentor of mine at ABC told me was that the most important thing in communications is listening. And so I think that really, talking about a full circle moment, all of that kind of comes to this moment where I'm here to listen, to learn from you all, but also to bring the expertise and the knowledge that I have in communications, in public education. And for the last 9 or 10 months, I've been working for Amazon as a public relations manager, and have learned a whole different world of public relations and communications that I think really will just bolster and enhance the work that we already do here in public education. And so I can't wait to get here to Long Beach, to move and to really get started. Everyone that I've met has been so warm and welcoming and talented that it just seems like I just can't wait to hit the ground running. So I won't stay up here too long and talk because I can do that, but feel free to reach out. I will, obviously I start in a month, but I'm open to whatever we need to do before that to get the ball rolling. So again, thank you to the board, thank you to the staff, and to Superintendent Baker for the recommendation and for the approval. And yeah, I can't wait.
Mrs. Craighead, if I might too, I wanted to thank the staff and our student representative, as well as community and others who participated in the first 2 rounds of interview, and then Mr. Grayson also had a 3rd round interview. And to thank Yumi Takahashi and David Zaid, who led the recruitment effort and really helped to think about how to go through this process in terms of formulating an interview protocol and all of the work behind the scenes that often doesn't get recognized. So just thank you to everyone who participated in making a space for Mr. Grayson to come to Long Beach.
Thank you. And Mr. Grayson, we wish you luck in finding new digs here in Long Beach and hope you have an easy process with that. Okay, now we go to reorganization of the board. And I was just noticing earlier, I have the gavel back in front of me and I haven't been able to use it because we've been at Browning, so I will miss the gavel. That's the official one. I've been bringing my own from home, but that's not the same. So tonight I'm proposing that we use procedural rules for nominations and elections from Robert's Rules of Order. That's a little bit more formal than our usual way of doing things. We don't strictly adhere to Robert's Rules of Order. It's kind of a base of what we do. And so I'm going to go over some the rules that we're going to be using. So the first thing I'll do is call for nominations for president. And I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
Oh, well,
You're reading the.
I'm reading so I don't mess up, because I want to make sure that I don't forget something on these rules. So for the Robert's Rules of Order for nominations and elections, as president, I will call for nominations for the office of president. And you don't need to be recognized to make a nomination, but you do need to be recognized if you're going to make a speech. Also, you have a question? No? Okay. Where was I? So nominations do not require a second. Seconds are permissible, but each nomination received, unless a person declines, is eligible for a vote. All members eligible to be nominated, or all members are eligible to be nominated. Any member may nominate themselves, and any member may decline a nomination. And after all nominations are received, the nominations will be voted on in the order in which they were received. And that's regardless of whether or not there's a second to the nomination. And the first nominee to win a majority becomes president, and no votes are required on any other nominations for that position. And then the new president will conduct the nominations for vice president using the same rules. That was a mouthful. This should be quicker than the reading of the rules. So I now open the nominations for board president.
Madam Chair, I nominate Dr. Juan Benitez for president.
Second.
Are there any other nominations for president? Then we take a vote.
Do I need to accept the nomination?
Well, you do, because,
I accept the nomination.
thank you. Otherwise, I did not read that part in the rules. Okay, so the only nomination we have is Dr. Benitez for president. There are no other nominations, so we will take a vote. So all in favor, Mr. Miller?
Aye.
Dr. Benitez?
Aye.
Ms. Kerr?
Aye.
Mr. Otto?
Of course, aye.
And I vote aye. So hearing no opposition or abstentions, congratulations, Dr. Benitez.
We got a lot more detail in those instructions than we did last time we did this.
I was not president last time we had nominations.
Yeah. At her house.
Does that need an approval, or how do we do this?
So using the same process that our outgoing president just used, I will accept nominations for vice president.
I nominate Megan Kerr for vice president.
Second.
I accept.
Yeah, I was waiting for that one. Right? Are there any other nominations for vice president? Okay, given that there are no other nominations, let's do our vote. Mr. Miller?
Aye.
Ms. Craighead?
Aye.
Ms. Kerr?
Aye.
Mr. Otto?
Aye.
And I vote aye. So that's a unanimous 5-0 vote for our Vice President, Board Member Kerr. Congratulations, Board Member Kerr. How do we do, Brent? Okay, so do we jump into, we have some time for comments here, Brent? Do we jump in right into our certification of signatures?
You may comment, or you can reserve that for your report at the end.
Okay, so let's reserve for our board member reports, and then what constitutes certification of signatures?
You need to vote.
Okay,
Move approval.
Second.
is that you with a second, Doug?
Yes.
Okay. Board member Miller?
Aye.
Board member Craighead?
Aye.
Board member Kerr?
Aye.
Board member Otto?
Aye.
And I vote aye. 5-0, unanimous approval of our certification of authority, so thank you, colleagues. Oh, yeah, the important stuff, the signatures. So let's move right into our board member reports. Let's start with Mr. Otto tonight.
What an eventful day. And I'm pleased that we're back in action at our building. I'm pleased that we've successfully gone through a reorganization of the board. Sometimes those things, as we've seen, not only nationally, but in other places, aren't easy. And I'm looking forward to the work that this group can do. I've been impressed in the very short time that I've been on the board that they're all people that want to work together for the best interests of the students in our district and the people that work here. So that's it. That's all.
Ms. Kerr?
Yes, thank you. Thank you to my colleagues for your vote of confidence to continue to serve as vice president. I'm excited to support our work that we're going to do in board development. I took a class, or I'm currently in a cohort with the Council of Great City Schools to really learn the ins and outs of some of that work, and look forward to being a support as we continue to look at student-focused goals in our future. So thank you for allowing me to serve. I just want to thank our teachers and staff and all who are supporting 15,000 students in summer school. I think I heard somewhere that if our summer school was a freestanding district, we'd be the 10th largest district in the state, just with our summer school. So what a feat, and so much joy. So hearing a lot from our students and our families about the fun that they're having, being back together on our campuses, engaging in work that isn't on a screen, talking to Dr. Myers upstairs and saying there's no tech. It's all hands-on work for our little ones. So thank you to the dedicated teachers and staff who are continuing to work hard this summer. I'm looking forward to our Jordan project. So we're going to do a groundbreaking, I believe, on August 10th at 10 a.m. Invite some of our community and labor partners who have worked hard on our community workforce agreement to kick off yet another phase of construction at Jordan High School as we get on hopefully the more tail end of the work that's been happening there for about 7 years. I will mention I was honored to be chosen to serve on the executive board for the Council of Great City Schools. So we participate in this council, which is 72 large urban school districts who do specific work around not just lobbying efforts at the federal level, but really finding best practices for urban students and sharing a common constituency. There's 1,000 school districts in California, but not all of them are urban schools. So we know that there are unique situations and opportunities for students in urban districts. And this is a great think tank of people who care deeply about the work. So the executive board is 12 superintendents from some of those 72 schools and 12 school board members. Was honored to spend some time in Portland with them. They are deeply dedicated to the work, and they bring a wealth of knowledge. So as we continue to learn more, I look forward to learning from them and bringing that back to us as we know that we've done some things well, and we share our best practices with them, but it really is an opportunity to learn more and how we can better serve our collective urban students. So thank you to my colleagues for allowing me to do that. Just looking forward, it feels like we're at the front end of a really wonderful opportunity. I know we're doing this again, and I know that there's some concerns out there, but it feels good to be back. It feels good to be starting new with new support in our district, with people in new positions, a little bit of reorganization, and a real opportunity and commitment to serve our students better, to listen actively and engage with our community and our families, and to respond in ways that help students achieve more. So I am excited for what's to come and look forward to being back together as school communities come late August.
Thank you, Ms. Kerr. Ms. Craighead?
Well, first I want to congratulate you and Ms. Kerr for continuing as our VP and leading us through this next year of, I don't know, Renaissance maybe. Maybe I'm inspired by your mask because it's a Renaissance mask. But anyhow, I'll start with a funeral service I attended for a leader of the Cambodian community, Mr. Kri Lai. He was an educator and a community leader, and in addition to being a founding member of the Cambodian Association of America, he helped develop the first bilingual Khmer English K-12 curriculum in California. And he served for 24 years as an instructional associate and consultant for this district's Southeast Asian Learners Program. And the eulogy from his daughter was incredible, and she talked about how he was so supportive, not only as a refugee, but of other refugees coming over from Cambodia. And she said that it wouldn't be unusual for her to wake up in the morning and there would be another family in the house with them, because it was kind of like a welcoming place where a family that didn't have a place to go would end up in their home. And this is the type of person that he was, and he just he sounded like a very wonderful man, and he will be missed. His contributions are many and meaningful. And then I wanted to mention one of our teachers, Miss Iga, and she's been contributing articles to the Grenion Gazette. And she's written about different trials and tribulations of online learning, the pandemic, and a lot of the articles were dedicated to her students, addressed to her students. And her latest contribution was a thank you, and really a love letter to her students. And I just wanted Ms. Iga to know that I've been following along, and I appreciate her honesty, her candor, and always having those students at the heart of what she's feeling, what she's doing. And it was very interesting to hear about how things were affecting her as a teacher and how her students were being affected as well. And it kind of feels like a time, even though the pandemic is still with us, it feels like a time of resurgence to a more normal, a more traditional, I should say, school year. And it's nice to know that we have kids in our summer school programs that are face-to-face. And yes, we're wearing masks, and that's because the pandemic has not gone away. The virus has not gone away. It is still with us. And so we take precautions for the safety of our students and our staff, and also because it's a mandate. But we do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Craighead. Mr. Miller?
Well, congratulations again. As you all know, when I speak from here, I wear a number of different hats, but I hope that you all can see that the hat that probably has the biggest influence is the one as a dad or as a son. As I try to continuously keep a family-focused approach towards my decision-making. When it comes to this pandemic and how it's impacted the families of the school district, I don't want to make any assumptions about how some of the other families felt, but at the same time, I think that it was safe to have, or I think it's safe to say that we all had this uncomfortable feeling of not knowing what to do. As we were all new to what a pandemic looked like, the emotional and social impact it would have on us, and in all honesty, it does and did, when I say did, I'm saying just last year, have us all scared because of the space of not knowing. As we are in this space of 2021, and now we have seen us go maybe a step backwards in needing to wear the mask again. I don't have the same feelings that I had at this time last year, as I'm carrying a sense of optimism. Before, it was almost like a test where I didn't know the answers. We didn't know how to approach this space, but now we do. We know that vaccinations have been the most responsive to this disease. And we know that wearing a mask has had the biggest impact to the reduction of the spreading. And we know that social distancing is important. And so as we go into a potentially next round of this test, and we know the answers, I'm going to implore the community to let's ace this one. There were a couple of things on this board agenda that were important and impactful, one of which resonated with me personally, as it reminded me of, or I was quickly reminded of a great mentor that I had while I was in the Long Beach Unified School District, and Doug Stewart. He was a great influence on the Milliken campus and did a great job of taking young black boys under his wing to not only give us a sense of community, but to give us a sense of leadership that we often didn't see. And so as we are sitting here today and we look at this board agenda, it was really cool to not only see his wife and Alyssa Taylor move into the equity, inclusion, and am I saying this right? Engagement and participant role. But I know for a fact that he's looking down smiling at one of the young men that he mentored and his wife being in that position. So really, really cool. I hate to end on such a somber note, but I recognize that things are getting tough for some families. I don't get too caught up into the social media sphere, and but one of the things that I have been noticing is a lot of tough times for some families. Unfortunately, we've seen a season of passing. My family has been hit really hard recently. But another one of my mentors lost his father today. So I wanted to send my condolences to the Austin family, as Austin lost probably one of his greatest mentors and his father. And I know that he's going through a tough time right now. So if you can keep him in your thoughts and prayers, and all of his family in his thoughts and prayers. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Miller, and maybe we can close today's meeting in honor of the Austin family. I thought you were gonna share one of the glimmers of lights that we have with Books and Buckets you want me to cover it, or do you want to extend your board report? Okay. So I first want to thank Ms. Craighead for serving as president of our board during an extremely challenging time. So you took some punches there. You handled them with always with grace, and I think honored our district in your service during an extremely tough time. So thank you, Board Member Craighead. I also want to thank my colleagues here for your vote of confidence and voting me president of our board. I am so looking forward to working with our superintendent in my new capacity, with all of our executive team, with all of our district staff, our labor partners, and advancing our district into as many in-person students as we can this coming fall, right? And as you have all sort of eloquently shared in this last 17, 18 months, we're here. We're a month or so away from being able to start a new year in a better place. We all shared our hopes for starting in a better place, and we are here, but we got to keep doing what we've been doing, Mr. Miller, because large segments of our population, particularly our poor communities of color, have still not been vaccinated, had the resources to get vaccinated and or the information. So I think all of us here share the sentiment of how important it is to continue getting vaccinated and continue being safe to honor our health and honor our students starting in person safely this coming academic year. So I think I am most looking forward to serving our communities, our board, and our district as president of this board. We've had some really good conversations over the last year around governance and what it means to truly represent and uphold our community's vision for student success. And I think we have a mandate here that our superintendent has presented to us in our Excellence and Equity plan, agenda, platform, So I am 100% committed to making sure that we ensure our community's vision for student success around the 4 pillars that we have that will guide our work, inform our work. And I think as a board, we share the sentiment that we do that really in 3 areas. And I'm happy to work with my colleagues in these 3 areas. One is by making sure that our budget reflects this commitment to excellence and equity and our community's vision around student success, particularly for our most vulnerable students and for our historically marginalized communities. You know, we always mention 2/3 of our students are on free and reduced lunch. 87% of our students come from communities of color, families of color. 10,000 students plus on IEPs. New position for supporting our foster students in our administrative assignments tonight. So we know what we need to do, and I'm happy to support our superintendent, our executive staff, again, our entire district staff, to making sure that our budget reflects that. Second, and I'm so looking forward to this policy being presented to us, Dr. Brown, it's through enacting policy that upholds, again, our community's vision around student success, but those policies are also reflected in our budgets, right? So that's why I'm going to keep sort of reminding our communities that resolutions and policies are nice on paper, but the only way that we can ensure that we uphold those words is through our programming, through our services, through our infrastructural supports. And we have 3 years here that we have some funding that we can't do everything with, but I think that's where our governance work is so important. So I look forward to having these conversations with our colleagues up here around our goals, our priorities, and how we reflect these 4 pillars that I think in some ways serve as guardrails for us already in that important governance work. And then the last is making sure that we support our superintendent. She has a huge task with the close to 70,000 students, 85 schools. She can make recommendations on budgets all day. We got to approve them and or present alternatives. Our staff, our community can bring policy recommendations to us. We have to act on them. So our duties in reflecting our community's vision around student success is to support our superintendent in doing so and to guide with our community. So I encourage our community members, our stakeholders, to stay engaged, to stay vigilant, so that we can share that we're listening, Dr. Brown, and we do that by supporting, equipping, working closely with our superintendent and executive staff to make sure that we do right by that community vision around student success. So thank you for the honor and the vote, and I am so looking forward to working with my colleagues, our executive staff, and all of our district staff to uphold that community vision around student success. Superintendent's report.
Thank you, Dr. Benita. So my report echoes many of the same sentiments that have been shared, but I want to publicly acknowledge Mrs. Craighead as her role as board president during a pandemic year, and also the transition of a superintendent that hadn't happened for 18 years. And so it's been a really important aspect of my work to have the relationship with you and also to lead the district with you as board president. And to congratulate Dr. Benitez and Ms. Kerr. I absolutely look forward to working with you in all of the ways that you have already described, but just want to make public acknowledgement of that. I want to welcome Justin Grayson to the team. We're so pleased to have his support and leadership, and I look forward to the days ahead. And Ms. Kerr, I think you did such a nice job of thanking our teachers. So to have 15,000 students in school for summer means a lot to our children and to their families. Many of the students who are in school this summer had not been attending in person until summer. And so credit goes to behind the scenes, all of the support staff that prepared curriculum, all of the support staff that helped to get students registered, and now our school staff, teachers, classified staff in the offices who are enrolling and engaging with families and helping, especially those who had not come back on campus, to have that on-ramp, that really important on-ramp, to feel the feel of school, and frankly, to have some fun while they're also participating in really meaningful learning experiences. And so I am just grateful for all of the staff who are out there working really hard in the middle of summer to ensure that our students have success. Speaking of that, so a couple things that you called out that I'd like to reinforce. The first is that our community updates, not community messages, but community updates, begin next week relative to the countdown of starting school. So we are excited. We have launched many different plans for the start of school, including, and I spoke of it earlier, Dr. Benitez, just the welcoming back of students and thinking just most importantly about the relationships between teachers and students in their classrooms. So next week starts our countdown to the start of school updates that we'll be making with health and safety information and just updates about sports and the plans that are taking us into that start of the school year. Also, just want to acknowledge we have had an incredible partnership with the City of Long Beach for the duration of this pandemic. That has not ended, and so we will be working with the city around vaccination for students 12 and up, in some cases on campuses where families who have not yet received vaccination as a family or for their children 12 and up, and looking forward to when vaccinations are available for younger children as well. But that partnership has been strong all through the pandemic and will continue. Lastly, just want to acknowledge, so Megan, you talked about being elected to the Executive Board of the Council of Great City Schools. For our city and for our school district, this is really important. So your seat at the table to both take ideas and share the good work of this district, but also to bring back things that are working on a national perspective needs to be underscored this evening. So I thank you for that additional service above and beyond what you already do for our school district. We are proud that you are at that table of 24. And engaging with Dr. Hart, who's the new executive director of the Council of Great City Schools, and just look forward to your continued sharing with the governance team and with the public what you're learning at that in that regard. So, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Baker. Any announcements, colleagues?
Quick announcement: before I was elected or chosen by my district, I was chosen by Rachel Miller to be her husband, and my anniversary is on August 21st, and my wife planned a trip for us before I was elected to this position. So I will be absent on August 18th.
Any other announcements? So I'll do a plug, Mr. Miller. So Mr. Miller and I had a chance to visit, and Dr. Lund actually was there as well, in the Washington neighborhood, 14th Street Courts, with a nonprofit organization called Books and Buckets. They have a summer leadership academy where they are sponsoring about 25 young folks from our Washington neighborhood, and they are literally reading in the mornings, engaging in critical conversations around issues in their community, and then they are all volunteers enjoying a hot Saturday morning of physical activity, including playing some hoops out there on the 14th Street Court. So if anyone wants to find out more about that organization, it's Saturday mornings, booksandbuckets.org. Anything that Dr. Lund, Mr. Miller want to add on the announcement?
While I was out there, I don't think I made one shot, literally. But it was quite a cool experience to see that many young men and young women that could have been anywhere in the world, but wanted to participate in a reading and athletic program on a Saturday morning. So really, really cool stuff.
The only thing I would add would be that we are working on a community use agreement with the organization so that they can utilize our school sites as well.
That's what I wanted to hear, Dr. Lund. Awesome.
And I just wanted to lift up David McGill, who is the organizer and founder of Books and Buckets. And I got to hear him talk just a little bit about why he started the organization. He is a kid who grew up in the Washington neighborhood, and he had the opportunity to go other places to be safe and have camp. And he wanted, part of his vision is he wants the kids in the neighborhood to be able to stay in their neighborhood and have those same opportunities that kids in different parts of the city have access to. And so he didn't see it, so he created it. So a Long Beach Unified kid giving back. So anything that we can do to continue to support his good work. So Dr. Lund, thank you for getting on the contract for the gyms. But he's doing great work. So shout out to David.
Right. Can I just say one more thing too? One of the things that I talked about before I was in this role was not necessarily always looking for the fiscal capital to make influence. It's social capital. So it's the relationships with the folks that are in the community doing the work, and how do we leverage those folks that want to be in partnership with us? And it doesn't take a dollar. It's just about us supporting them. And so this is one of those opportunities where we're keeping our Long Beach Unified School District students engaged in reading. We're keeping them energized and in shape with athletics. And it was really our relationship and our presence that had the biggest impact.
Thank you. If there are no other announcements, if I can get a motion to adjourn, and I would recommend that we adjourn in honor of the Austin family tonight.
So moved.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.